Hello and welcome to my Arts and Crafts. I'm Libby and today I'm going to be making some cards using the Gina Mini Blossoms stamp set. So these are the cards we're going to be making today. To start, I'm going to bring out the stamp set and I'm just going to pull off all of the different little leaves and flowers. I'm going to start by using it how it was intended, so I'm going to start by stamping this cluster. Not really cluster, but this big like stem and leaves image. I'm going to stamp that with Sweet Leaf ink from Altenew, I believe it is. Yeah, that's what it is. It's this kind of nice, really like almost mint green, but a little bit darker. I really liked it. I stamped it twice. Next, I'm going to be stamping the biggest flower down at the bottom, and then the second smallest there near the top. And I'm going to be using Picked Raspberry Distress ink for this. I actually really liked this color for this. I think it turned out really well. To get a smoother stamp, I'm going to stamp it twice for all of these. I will then go in with the smallest and the second biggest there, just lining it up as best as I can. Once I like the position, I'll pick it up with my Misti, make sure the cardstock is in the right spot, and stamp out these images. Again, I'm going to stamp it twice, especially with the Distress ink. I find that makes it the smoothest, and so yeah, I did mess this one up once, so I had to restart. So this is the good version of this, but I'm going to start by stamping the biggest flower there, and then I'm going to bring in some different leaves and stems and such all around this flower, wherever I see fit. So I'm going to put one up there. I decided it was better to turn it this way for this stamp. And I'm going to be just using one stem for this. So yeah. Again with the Sweet Leaf ink. I think these two colors went really well together as well. So yeah. I'm then deciding which flower I want to put in there. I'm going to be using the You Are the Best, You Are the Best sentiment for this one. And I want it to kind of fit in with the cluster, so I'm going to just be bringing that in throughout to make sure I like it. I decided to stamp the smallest flower there on that stem, and I'll be adding some more leaves and stems and stuff. So I really like this one. I use this like stem leaf thing a lot. I'm then going to bring in those standalone leaves to stamp them. And then, again, just going to stamp those there. And I'm going to bring in that little stem with the two leaves there for the bottom. Again, I thought it fit perfectly in there. And I will stamp that. And then I am wiping off the stamps each time I stamp it, just to keep it nice and clean, and so I don't have any smudges or anything on my thing. There you can see the one that I messed up, so I just had to do it again, but I think it turned out much better, and I liked the arrangement a lot better on this one too. So I'm going to stamp this leaf here next to this stem, and I am going to bring in another one of these stems. I did bring that one in that I've used a bunch here. And it's really easy to ink up only only one of these stems or whatever with a mini ink cube. So if you have one of those, that's great, or else you can also mask it off with a little bit of tape or a post-it note or something like that. I was then playing with the arrangement there, and I liked that the bigger flower there goes there, and then I was planning to do another leaf or stem there to connect to that kind of medium-sized flower. So I'm going to stamp this one right in there. I felt like that filled the space nicely. I'm going to stamp a stem there so that I can connect another flower to it. And then, yeah. Once I like that, I am just going to take the other stamp out off the Misti because it's still there, and pick up the new stamp that I have there. If it hangs out of the Misti, it's okay. I find it's still stamped well, but you can shift the paper so that it fits better. And then I will stamp that flower there. I decided to add a few more leaves in here and there. I felt like it just needed a few extra, but you can just play with the arrangement till you like it. There's so many different arrangements you can do with this stamp set, so I think that it's really versatile and stuff, and you can do just a lot with this. Sorry, my hair does get in the way a lot. I just want to make sure that it's nice and lined up. And then once I liked that, I took it out and I did fussy cut these because there was no dies, and also I did my own arrangement there. I'm then going to bring in this like stripe stamp. This one is from the Rainbow is My Favorite Color stamp set, but I'm sure there's a bunch of like stripe stamps in this, or in various different stamp sets that you can use. I wanted to stamp a little line there with Versamark ink. I stamped it on the little white panel that I'm doing, and also on this dark pink cardstock. I am going to have the line cover the whole card, so it kind of grounds the flower image that I'm going to put on there. So I did heat emboss that with gold embossing powder, and you can see it just kind of helps to ground that flower there, so it's not just like floating on the panel. The next one, I wanted to create lines or like stripes on my panel, and so yeah, here you can see I'm playing with how wide I want them. I decided to go 3 of those little grid spaces on the Misti, or 3/4 of an inch for each line. The top and the bottom don't have that because it is going to go off the panel, but I did think that the 3/4 of an inch didn't overwhelm it, but it created enough to have some interest in the background as well. You could even probably go an inch, and that would look really nice too. I just decided that the 3/4 of an inch worked well. So I'm just going to stamp this one with Versamark ink as well. I'm making sure that the stamp is straight too, because I am trying to create straight lines. You'll see I kind of changed that later because of a mishap. I forgot to anti-static powder the paper, I believe, or it didn't work very well. So yeah, I then had to move the stamp because I wanted to make sure it was lined up with some with some of those grid spaces. I didn't want to go out of the Misti, so I just moved it up a little bit. I didn't like the rounded edge, like I didn't want that on my card, so I didn't put it all the way up to the edge on that right side. I pulled it out 1 grid space, and that worked really well. And then I'm going to go back and stamp this other one. The grid spaces make it really, really easy to line up the stamp and have even spaces between those lines. So yeah, I thought that was really helpful. And I just lined that up there. And I will stamp that near the top there. And I'm going to cover this in gold embossing powder as well. You can see when I dump on the embossing powder, a lot sticks. So I decided to go in with a paintbrush, and I couldn't keep the lines quite straight enough, so I ended up just having them wonky. And then you'll see I'll bring in my Versamarker in a minute, and I'll just go over the parts where where it's not stamped super well. I'm just going to go over the whole thing, just one line with the brush part of it, and just create kind of a organic line, not necessarily like wavy, but much straighter than much more organic than the other ones I was gonna have, and I thought that worked out just fine. So I did heat emboss that. I then am going to do some sentiments. So I took the Love You stamp from the stamp set, and I stamped that there. I also wanted a sub greeting because I felt like it needed a little bit more, so I did add in the Sending You Hugs from a Hero Art stamp set, which will be linked below, along with the other supplies I used in this video. So yeah, and then this sentiment I'm going to stamp onto onto this flower arrangement I have. I'm just going to line it up so that it fits onto that onto this image. Sorry. And I did heat emboss this one with gold embossing powder as well. This sentiment does come in the stamp set. So yeah, I will sprinkle on that gold embossing powder, and I will heat set that as well. So I'm going to stamp this thank you sentiment inside the You Are the Best card. I thought it just finished off the sentiment nicely and added a little bit more interest to the inside of the card. I'm using this nice pink card stock for both of the cards. I added some extra dimension onto both of the backs of these panels with some extra cardstock, and then I popped up each of the flower images with some foam tape on their spot. So this one I just had to line up with that line already on the card base, and then I will add that there to finish off this card. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and come back next Tuesday for a new video. If you're interested in any of the supplies I used today, check the description box below. For more inspiration, please consider liking and subscribing, and for even more inspiration and updates, check out my Instagram and Pinterest accounts at Misti Arts and Crafts. Have a great day. See you soon.